Good morning and welcome to our prenatal yoga class. And my name is Shonda, just a little reminder. And just hope that you've had like a great weekend. It's Monday, and hopefully you'll have a great week. I just wanted to just kind of offer to you, to those who are participating, that, as you're moving along your pregnancy, there's going to be times when you have low energy, times when you have lots of energy, and to just really go with the flow, to listen to your body, to take naps whenever you can. And, those bursts of energy you have are there to serve a purpose as well, but you don't have to like try to, conquer everything on your list of things to do. So kind of like with today's practice, I'm going to build in a little bit more time for us to rest throughout. Because again, if you're within the first trimester, you might be feeling nauseous, you might be feeling tired because you're growing a placenta along with a baby. Second trimester, you kind of come out of the first trimester with a little bit more energy and vigor. So you kind of feel like, yeah, I want to move my body, but you're starting to get bigger, your center of gravity is changing. So what's available to you is also different. And then that third trimester is where, you're in the home stretch and, you're kind of balancing between desire to nest and desire to rest. So it's just really, really important that you are listening to your body. And what I think prenatal yoga can help you do is to really cultivate that capacity to listen a little bit better and a little bit deeper, so that when you are tired or hungry or thirsty, and you can respond appropriately. And so I know for myself, when I was pregnant, practicing prenatal yoga helped me sleep a lot better. The nights that I did, the days I did yoga were the nights I slept the best. And I think it also helped me birth my baby. I think it helped me post recovery, post natally, just trying to get my strength and energy back. Not so much trying to get like my, body back, but just trying to get my mind back, right? And just like, oh my gosh, kind of opening up into this new world of motherhood. So I hope for you that this practice can be one of the tools that you use along your journey. So with that, just a reminder, I have 2 blocks, a bolster, several blankets, and I also have a big round ball. You don't need any of these things to practice on. However, if you have a blanket, if you have a pillow, something that you can sit on, something that will support you, that would be great. You could even have a chair, like a chair that doesn't move, not on wheels, that you can lean on, and having wall space is also great too. So we'll incorporate all of those things. I'm sitting with my legs crossed. You can have one ankle in front of the other, if that feels good for you. If not, if you're having pain in the pubic area, pubic symphysis pain, you can also take your 2 blocks with the large face down, or a small stool, or if you have a kneeling bench, I have a meditation kneeling bench, you can also just kind of sit back on that. So you just place it between your feet and lean back. So it's just to take the pressure off of the hips, but you have a little bit more pressure on your knees. So you get to kind of decide and play with that. You can also sit on a bolster if you need to sit up higher. So let's begin by finding that comfortable seat, lengthening our spines. You can roll the shoulders open and back a few times, open and back a few times. Good. And then just allowing the eyes to close, sealing the lips if you're not congested. Congestion is quite common during pregnancy. And taking a few moments just to settle into your bodies, settle into your breath. Taking the first few seconds just to scan your body, noticing how the body feels, if there's any soreness or tightness in the body. Noticing if there's any areas of tenderness in the body. As well as noticing how much energy and the quality of that energy in your body. I'd like to invite you to listen to your body during this practice, to do what feels appropriate, and to take time to rest. As I stated earlier, I'll incorporate opportunities for us to rest throughout the practice. And you can take your practice off the mat and into your day, resting, maybe stretching, breathing deeply. We'll chant the sound of Om 3 times. Chanting is always optional. However, it's a beautiful way to kind of invoke your practice, to begin your practice with the sound of your voice. Om is the original sound of the universe. It's the vibrational energy that animates everything and everyone. And it's also a great way to connect to your baby because your baby can hear and feel the vibration. And I like to chant Om, especially in prenatal yoga, because it has that mom sound in it, so invoking the mama energy within us all. Gently join your hands together in front of your heart. Exhale generously and inhale generously for Om. Feeling the resonance of the chant, just releasing the hands, allowing the eyes to open slowly to adjust to the light in the room. And just a reminder also to have a beverage nearby. I didn't say that earlier. So let's go ahead and just inhale, reach the arms out and up, looking up. And as you exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Good. Let's do that a few times. Inhale, reaching the arms out and up. Hands come together, trace along the central channel of the body as we release that breath out. One more time. Inhale, deep, full breath. Exhale completely. This time, inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, let your hands land on your shoulders. Rest your fingertips right on the tops of your shoulders and begin to make shoulder circles. So we circle up, forward, down, and back. So rather than going in the opposite direction, this is to help open the chest. As we advance in our pregnancy, the front of the body gets very heavy. The breast tissue can become quite heavy as the mammary glands are preparing to nourish your baby. So this area gets really tight and tender, and I hate to break it to you, it also gets tight and tender when you are carrying the baby outside of your body, because you usually carry the baby on your chest. So arms are wrapped around the body, holding on to the baby, and the muscles in the front of the chest get tight. So this is something you can do even after your baby arrives. Let's do 2 more circles. So just inhaling up and back and down and forward one more time. And let's just find a good place to stop right there. Reach and extend your left hand to the floor, and then reach and extend the right arm to the sky. And so we want to just have a little weight in that left hand just to help keep that left shoulder down on the back. We're reaching and lengthening that right arm up and over just a little bit, just to open through the ribs, not a big side bend. Space between the chin and chest. Keep your neck long. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale. Good. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, go ahead and rest your right hand on the earth, and let's reach and extend that left arm up and overhead. Soften the shoulder onto your back, space between the chin and chest. And now we'll flow with our breath. So as you inhale, reach both arms up. As you exhale, gently lengthen to the left. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, lengthen in the opposite direction. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Last time. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up. As you exhale, rest your left hand behind you and bring your right hand onto your knee for a twist. So again, not moving and twisting through the belly like we would in a traditional hatha yoga class, just opening the ribs, the chest and shoulder to the left, maybe turning the head to look over the left shoulder. You can bring that right hand to rest onto the left knee if you want to feel a little bit more stretch across the upper back. Take one more breath in, one more breath out. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky, turn to face forward. As you exhale, your right hand rests behind you, the left hand on top of the left knee. Inhale, lengthen your spine, get a little taller, a little longer. And then as you exhale, again, just opening the ribs, the chest, the shoulder to the right, maybe turning the head to look over the right shoulder, maybe bringing that left hand on top of the right knee. Take one more breath in, one more breath out. Inhale, turn to face forward once more, arms reach up to the sky. And this time as we exhale, I'm going to interlace the fingers and press the palms open to the sky. We're going to do an upright cat-cow. So as you inhale, we lengthen. As you exhale, bring your chin in towards your chest as you lower your hands just at chest level. Good. And then we inhale, rock forward, lifting the arms up, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. And as you exhale, let your back round. Bring the chin in towards the chest. Hug your baby in towards your body. Again, inhale, reach up. And exhale it all out. Good. Again, inhale, deep breath. Exhale it all out. And so just keep moving at your own pace. As you inhale, let the belly, the ribs, the chest expand. And as you exhale, release that breath from your chest, your ribs, and your belly. Good. You'll get 3-part breathing. Inhale, expand belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, let the chest lower, the ribs draw in, and hug your baby in towards you. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And this time, the last time we inhale, reach those arms up. And as you exhale, let's release the hands and begin to make circles with the wrists. So wrist, forearm, elbow, shoulder health is also really important because pretty soon you'll be carrying a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pound person in front of you, right? And so carpal tunnel is very common during pregnancy because of the excess fluid in the body, but also once your baby arrives, it's just a repetitive stress injury that can happen from carrying the baby. So you just want to make sure that you keep your wrist and forearms supple and flexible and strong and healthy. So let's go ahead. We're going to come onto hands and knees. So I'm going to move my blanket off to the side, or if you need the support, if you're on a hardwood floor, you can also open the blanket up and give yourself some padding. So prenatal yoga is all about support. We're never enduring any yoga pose. So if you need the padding, take some padding. I always recommend using the padding. And again, with sensitive wrists, you don't have to have the wrists underneath the shoulders. You can walk your hands forward a bit. You can even come up onto your fist if that feels best for you. And let's just begin to move. So I'm just rocking forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. And you can make this movement as big as you like, as small as you like. And again, breathing at your own pace. Find your breath. And maybe paying attention to the breath at the nostrils helps you stay focused and mindful of your breath. Maybe feeling the coolness and the warmth of the breath against the back of the throat helps you stay anchored in the present moment. So just allow yourself to breathe, to be present. Now let's take this forward and back action and just change it side to side. So just rocking the hips side to side and then looking over the shoulder as you rock your hips. So hips rock in one direction and the head turns in the opposite direction. And this just helps us get length along the side of the body. You might even feel it in the top of your hip, in the glutes. And let's take this side to side action and make a big circle. So just kind of putting all those movements together. And again, just moving in a way that feels good. You can bend the elbows, drop the head, let your hips dip far back, let your hips reach far forward, whatever feels good. Good, and then let's go ahead and reverse, rock in the opposite direction. And still breathing deeply. Breathing for both you and your baby. Every breath you take, sustaining your life and your baby's. And let's just slowly come back into center. Reach and extend your right leg long behind you. Curl the toes under and just begin to rock onto the ball of that foot. And again, if your wrists feel sensitive or tired or shoulders feel tired, you can come down onto your forearms, right? So always have lots of options. So I'm just keeping that right leg nice and long and just kind of pulsing, lengthening out my left leg, keeping the neck long, and just breathing. Good. And then when you're ready, just reaching long through that right leg and then turning the right heel down. You can stay on your forearms if you'd like, or you can come back up onto your hands. And let's reach and extend that right arm forward, up, and back. Make a big circle with your arm. Inhale, reach forward, up, and back. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And again, just connecting with your breath. Moving in a way that feels good, that feels supportive. Finding that big stretch across the chest one more time. Good. And the next time that arm circles down, rest your right hand on the earth. Slide your right leg out to the side. And again, rock forward and back. And so you can walk the hands a little farther forward if you'd like. So the upper body kind of looks like a downward facing dog as you reach back. So keeping the spine long, keeping the neck long. Good. And then just finding what feels like center, like neutral to you. Bring those hands back underneath the shoulders, ground down through your right foot. So the sole of my right foot is on the ground. And we're just gonna reach and open that right arm to the sky for a twist. So in prenatal yoga, we are very mindful when we do twists. So in hatha yoga, traditional yoga classes, we twist in all directions, right? But in prenatal yoga, we always want to keep the belly open. So we never want to compress the belly or twist the belly, right? Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Good, lower that right hand down. We're gonna move this right foot from beside us to in front of us. And I have my right foot off of the mat, so it's quite a ways away from my hand. Feel free to place your foot as close or as far to you as you'd like. And I'm gonna walk my hands to the left. So right foot's to the right, toes are pointing to the right, fingertips pointing to the left, and I've walked them off of my mat. And again, you can move in any direction that feels good. So I'm kind of moving in the direction of my hands at a diagonal. So pushing my hips back and then reaching forward towards my hands. And you can take this movement and go side to side. So now I'm moving in the knee. So bending the knee a little bit more, then reaching my hips, this time to the left. And you can take those movements and make a circle. So circle your hips and let the back round as you reach your hips back. And breathing. Go ahead, reverse if you're making circles. And let's come into center. Let's walk those hands in. This time, walk your right foot in a little closer so that it's on the mat. Bring your right hand onto your thigh and lift up. So we're in a low lunge. Your feet are placed wide enough so that you feel supported, right? So that they're not too close to each other and you feel wobbly. We're just gonna reach both arms up. Both arms reach up and exhale, lower the arms down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time. Inhale and exhale. This time, inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, cactus the arms, stick out the tongue and sigh the breath out. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the mouth, stick out the tongue, and lion's breath. 1 more time. Inhale. Good. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down onto the mat. And let's swing that right leg back alongside the left. We're gonna find our first child's pose. Remember I said I was gonna build in time for us to rest. So even when we feel good and we feel like we could do more, take time to rest. So we're just gonna open the knees really wide apart, big toes touch, heels apart, arms reach forward, and we bring the heart onto the earth, the head onto the earth, the hips onto the heels. And if your hips don't reach your heels, you can always place a block or a bolster, something underneath you so that you aren't stressing the knees, straining your back, and trying to hold yourself up, right? And so just breathing there. So child's pose is also, again, another excellent position to consider when you're birthing your baby, right? It's a nice transition. Take a little pressure off of the pelvis, off of the back. And then when you're ready, just slowly rocking yourselves forward and up. And we'll do all of that on the left side. I know that was a lot, right? So when you're ready, reach your left leg back. going all the way back to the beginning. And we just rock again onto the ball of the foot. So just a little pulsation to lengthen out the back of that left leg. Good. And for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Reach long through that left heel. Turn your left heel down, and you can sweep that lower right leg off to the side if you need a little extra support, like a kickstand on a bicycle. And let's reach that left arm forward, up, and back. Really big expression across the chest. Inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. Once more, inhale up, exhale. Next time that arm circles all the way forward, up and down. Bring your hand onto the earth. Let's slide that left leg from behind us to beside us. And you can bring the sole of the foot onto the mat. I like to walk the hands forward a little bit so that the upper body gets a nice stretch. So the upper body looks like downward facing dog. And we just rock back. Feel that stretch along the inner left leg. And then when you're ready, find what feels like center to you. Make sure that right hand is kind of underneath the shoulder. And we take a twist. Reach that left arm up to the sky. You don't have to turn the head. You can just look at the wall to the left. But keep lifting the belly, lifting the heart, lifting the chest, space between the chin and chest. One more breath in, one more breath out. When you're ready, let's circle that arm all the way down. And then we slide that left foot forward, keeping it off the mat, remember. So we began by just kind of rocking. You can rock forward and back if you'd like. So the hands walk to the right. You can move the body in all directions. And again, it's about listening to the body. What feels good? What feels right? So that right knee, we can keep it bent, or rather the left knee. Bend that left knee and straighten it. So we just kind of bend and straighten. And then you can keep the knee bent and rock forward and back, kind of at a diagonal in your hips. Good. And let's find a good place to come into center. Bring that left foot onto the mat. Bring the hands onto the mat. Bring your left hand onto your thigh and lift all the way up. Excellent. So we're going to practice that Simhasana, that lion's breath once again. And I like to do this again because it's all about like really paying attention to your body and releasing tension, right? So as you're feeling discomfort in the body, how can you release tension? Sometimes it's through making noise. Sometimes if we can release the tension in the jaw and in the face, it helps to relax the rest of the body. So when you do your lion's breath, let your jaw open completely, right? So just think about opening, opening, opening. If you're birthing this baby, you need everything to be open. So when we're making that lion's breath, let that be a big sound, right? You can make sound with it. So we'll do it again. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the mouth, stick out the tongue. Inhale, reach arms up. Good. Again, inhale. 2 more times. Inhale. 1 more time. Good. Inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, set your hands down. We're going to come up to standing. So if you have blocks or a stool nearby, feel free to use them. You can come up however you'd like to come up, but again, when we're pregnant, changes in the head can affect our blood pressure. So you just want to try to keep your head up at all times so that you don't get dizzy. So I'm resting my left forearm on my thigh, my right hand's on my block, and I'm just going to use these two things to help support me come up. Keep my head up, curl those back toes under, step my right foot forward. You can rest here with your forearms on top of your thighs. And I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to open my feet pretty far apart and bring my hands into my thighs and just begin to find some rotation here. So just reaching and lengthening. So I straighten, in this case, my right arm. I turn my head to the left and then reverse. So just moving in opposite directions. Nice. Good. And let's find what feels like center. Hands on the thighs. Use your hands. Use your legs to come up. Good job, mama. So we're going to walk those feet in just a little bit, but not by much, because I want to do some hip circles here. So we did a lot of hip opening, a lot of kind of deep stretching in the hips. And so hip circles are great to do anytime during the day. If you've been sitting a lot, walking a lot, standing a lot, lying down a lot, just bringing some awareness to the hips. So hands can rest right at the top of your anatomical hips, and we just move really big, really small. You want to bend your knees and just let everything move. Yeah. Excellent. Let's reverse. Circle in the opposite direction. Good. And let's find a good place to come into center. Walk those feet in a little closer to each other and just feel your body. So again, just an opportunity to rest, standing tall. And just feeling your body, feeling your breath in your body, just noticing, what has shifted for you in the last 30 minutes of asana practice, asana and pranayama. So asana being the yoga postures, pranayama being the breath practices. And then we also had some times where we practiced mindfulness, right? We were just kind of paying attention to our breath, paying attention to our bodies. So just take a moment. Lengthen your arms. We find Tadasana. Tadasana is the mountain pose, and that is the foundational pose for all of our standing work that we do. I'd like to take this opportunity to do a few Kegels, if you don't mind. And I don't really like to call them Kegels because Kegels kind of puts in your mind a different kind of thing than what I'm talking about. But we do want to, again, kind of think about the muscles that support the pelvic floor, the organs of the pelvic floor, the bladder, the bowel, now your uterus, your baby, the placenta. So there's a lot that's being held here by muscles and ligaments and tendons. So what we want to do is just kind of bring some awareness to these muscles. And I want you to think about coughing. So if you, those muscles engage your abdominals, right? And then if you were, in the bathroom urinating and you wanted to stop the flow of urine, those muscles that you would use to stop the flow. So those are the muscles that I want you to think about. So you can bring a hand like onto your belly, you can bring a hand onto your low back, and we're just gonna just practice just a few rounds of Kegels. And you can do these standing, you can do them seated, however, you can do them lying down. But the idea here is that I'm drawing everything up, hugging baby in towards me as I use those muscles that I would use to stop the flow of urine, right? And I'm also going to engage my upper abdominals, hugging baby in towards me. And again, this is going to help you birth your baby. And more importantly, it's going to help you recover after birthing your baby, right? So we just find a sense of awareness. How can we contract? How can we relax? Contraction and relax. So just finding a way to engage those muscles and to soften those muscles consciously. And again, these are exercises that you can do post-baby, but even throughout your life. It's not uncommon for women, especially if you've had children, but even if you haven't had children, for older women to experience incontinence, which is basically the ability or the inability to hold your urine. And some women have to wear, devices to protect from any leakage that they have from maybe laughing or crying. It just kind of, everything just kind of comes out and releases, right? Or coughing even. So we just want to help maintain the strength of those muscles, just like you would your biceps, just like you would your back. If you go to the gym and you strengthen those muscles, you want to strengthen the muscles of the pelvic floor also. So let's do 3 more. Well, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, 1 more, and release. Excellent. Let that all go. Shake it all out. Drink some water. This is a great time to drink some water. I'm going to move my blanket off of my mat. And then when you are ready, coming back onto your mat, and we're going to move through some standing work. So again, just kind of re-establishing your Tadasana. Let's go ahead and open those feet up a little wider apart. So if you were in a traditional yoga class, right, we kind of do this measurement where your ankles should be under your wrists. Not necessarily true in prenatal yoga, because again, your center of gravity is shifting. So just open your feet to a position that feels comfortable for you. So let's just start by turning those right toes to the right. And we're just gonna bend into that knee. And so lots of space here across the pelvis, belly open, chest open. Make sure that your right knee isn't going past your ankle. If it is, you might want to walk those right toes a little farther away from your body. And we're just bringing some awareness into that thigh. And while we do that, let's begin to incorporate the arms. We'll find warrior 2. So as you bend the knee, inhale, arms, and exhale, release. Do that again. Inhale, exhale. Again, inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Last time. Inhale, arms, exhale, release. Nice work. Let's do the other side. So we're just going to turn this time the left toes to the left. Make sure that you've turned your right toes back to face forward. And we just bend into the left knee. So just bending the knee, straightening the leg, keeping chest lifted, shoulders open. Yeah, and just noticing, what do you feel in your knee? What do you feel in your hip? Noticing any sensations in your foot and ankle. And let's bring in the arms to find our warrior 2. So as we bend the knee, we inhale the arm and exhale, straighten the leg and release. Do that again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, arms, and exhale. Nice. So we're going to turn those left toes, and we're going to turn the right toes out slightly. So we turn those left toes from being super far out to just being out a little bit. And now I can bend both knees. I have on these yoga pants that have a little skirt attached, and the skirt comes up. So I think let's let it stay up. So just bend the knees and straighten the legs. We're just finding ourselves kind of like in a wide plie squat or a sumo squat. Try to keep the chest lifted. And again, this is a great place to practice those Kegels, right? So as you straighten the legs to come up, can you engage those muscles of the pelvic floor? Not really contracting the buttocks, right? So I don't want you to think about like squeezing the glutes, but I want you to think about those muscles, inner thigh, quadricep, hamstrings, and the muscles of the pelvic floor, helping to lift you up with a little oomph at the end. Good. So let's go ahead. We're gonna do 2 more. 1 more. And this time I want you to stay, if you can, right here. We're gonna rest those forearms. This time I'm gonna rest my right forearm on my thigh. I'm gonna reach my arm up. Good. And come back and reach opposite direction. Good. So you're just kind of building some strength and stamina in the legs. I'm just gonna do a couple. I know the thighs start to get hot. They might even start to shake. 1 more to each side. Good. Inhale. Hands to thighs, straighten the legs and come up. Let's find those hip circles. So just circling those hips. You can walk the feet in a little closer. Hands come onto the anatomical thighs. And we just circle through the hips. And again, rocking the baby and just releasing all of that effort that we just did. And let's come into center and chill for a moment. Feel free to grab some water. We're going to talk about squat. That's our next asana, our next yoga pose. And squat is always optional, right? If you have any of the following conditions, please don't do squat. You can do what we just did, which was a sumo squat. You can even come down onto your hands and knees and kneel and step a foot forward and do that half squat that we were doing, because that's a squat too. But if you have deep vein thrombosis, DVT, or any varicosities like varicose veins, don't do this. If you have hemorrhoids, or if a doctor has told you that you have placenta previa, meaning that part of the placenta is covering the cervix, the opening in through which your baby will come out when you birth your baby, don't do this. If you have any sort of like pubic symphysis pain, so when I talk about the pubic symphysis, I'm talking about where the two halves of the pelvis come together, and this is your pubic bone. But when we're pregnant, sometimes there's some separation, sometimes there's a lot of pain there. So if that's for you, that's true for you, don't do this pose, right? Please listen to your body. Do what feels appropriate. You can even kind of lean up against the wall and do your squat with some support there. I recommend having something, right? So I have my trusty birthing ball. I could do my squat on my ball, so that's an option. And I also have my 2 blocks. You could do a squat on a chair. So if you don't have any of those things, I think I will show squat at the wall, because that's pretty accessible for most people if you have the wall space. I'll move my ball out of the way so that you can see me. But I still will take my 2 blocks and place them at the wall, like so. So I have a place to land. Lean back against the wall with your back on the wall, pelvis on the wall, and then begin to walk your feet away from the wall. So the feet come out maybe a foot, foot and a half from the wall, maybe a little farther out depending on how long your legs are. And I'm just rolling across the back of my pelvis, and this feels really good. It's kind of just pressing me into the wall and letting the wall massage me. I did this a lot when I was birthing my baby because it felt so good, right? I mean, you can really push into the wall, and you know, sometimes it's great to have hands, like people pressure, but you know, I was birthing my baby for quite some time, so people were getting tired. So after a while, I was kind of on my own at the wall, and then people would come back once they wake up. So just kind of finding some ways to find some support. So this is something, again, you can do all throughout your pregnancy. Just find a wall and massage, because as you get bigger, low back might feel tired, low back might feel tender. So I'm bending my knees a little bit. I'm bringing my hands onto my thighs, and I'm just rocking, I'm just rolling across the back of my pelvis. While I'm doing this, I'm also kind of letting my hips slide down the wall. So it's almost like I'm walking my hips down the wall. So you may notice that my knees are bending a little bit more. So now I can bring my forearms onto my thigh. So you're just kind of breathing and feeling into your body. Does this feel like the right thing to do today? Maybe not. Maybe you, like those contraindications I rattled off, none of them apply to you, but you just don't want to do this. You don't have to. You are in the comfort of your home, and I hope you are listening to the wisdom of your body. So if you want to come back up, come back up. You don't have to. I'm going to keep descending and making my way down onto my blocks. And I am almost there. Made it. So for my mamas who are choosing to stay upright, you can just find center or keep moving, whatever feels good. If you're on your birthing ball or on blocks, bring the hands together in front of the heart and just take a few breaths here. Just breathing, just being quiet, paying attention to the body. Maybe there's a little movement, maybe there's stillness. Maybe eyes are closed, or maybe they're open slightly. Just a soft gaze, softening the face. And keeping the chest lifted, keeping the neck long, and just allowing gravity to do the magic in this pose for you. There's really not a whole lot for you to do here other than to be receptive. Just checking in with your body, observing and witnessing your breath, and maybe feeling your baby move inside of you. Connecting to that vitality and vibrancy within. And then when you're ready, if you closed your eyes, just allow them to open softly. So depending on where you are and what you're sitting on, it will determine how you get up. If you're on a birthing ball, you just stand up. If you're on the wall, you just walk your feet in and push yourself away from the wall. If you're down, like I am, a couple options. One would be to just bring your feet back. You can do one, you can do both, and then just kneel. So you just kind of rock yourself forward onto your hands and knees. So that's an option. And then we come up to stand by just stepping a foot forward, finding something to support yourself. So I got my stack of blankets, I've got my sofa here, I could use my thigh, pushing, come up to just a kind of low position, and then slowly coming up to stand. Excellent. Yay, nice work. Okay, so that's our practice. Now we get to rest. So this is true of all yoga. All yoga is designed to help you achieve deep relaxation so that you can be more aware, more present, more embodied in the rest of your life, right? So we did an hour's worth of asana, an hour's worth of movement, breath work, and now you get to rest. And hopefully you can rest deeply, right? So I would encourage you to use whatever props you have. I am going to use my bolster and I'm going to use my blankets, and I will show you a side lying position. It's recommended that once you're in your second trimester, third trimester, that you don't rest on your back anymore. However, every woman's different. Listen to your body. If you're fine being on your back, listen to your body and you can rest on your back. I have right here this like part of my sofa that extends out. Sometimes I rest on my back and just put my lower legs up here to rest. So that's an option for you also. I would really like for you to maybe have your legs elevated if you can, if you're going to be on your back. So I'm going to use all of my blankets. I'm going to have a blanket for my head. I'm going to make a little neck roll here, and then my head will rest there. And then I'm going to create a little support for my torso and specifically my left shoulder. So I'm going to open these blankets up so that my whole torso can rest. And here's my other one. And the idea here is that I create enough height for my torso to rest, space for my left shoulder and arm to extend. So on the mat, I have about 2 inches of blanket, my neck roll, and then I'll have another blanket, lots of blankets, to come onto for my belly if I need it. So you can have like a little wedge for your belly for support. So I'm going to take this big cushion. You can use a couch cushion if you have one available to you. Rest your right leg on top of it. My left leg is straight and long, just alongside the bolster. Maybe you can see my feet, my foot sticking out there. Going to reach my left arm right here, just outside the head blankets. I have like a little neck roll. And then if my belly needed the support, I could rest a pillow or rest a blanket underneath my belly. This right arm can rest on top of the body, and then we just close the eyes. And so you will rest for 3 minutes. I'm going to sit back upright and I will sound the chime. So it's going to be really quiet, and I hope for you it's quiet in your space at home. And I also hope that you can rest and not move or disturb yourself or distract yourself in any way. So I know 3 minutes seems like an eternity. If you need to move, by all means, move. But otherwise, please rest. So eyes are closed, just allowing your body to breathe itself without feeling any need to do anything at all. Begin to deepen your breath. You can wiggle toes and wiggle fingers and take a deep breath in and maybe move and stretch the body in any way that feels good. And just begin to press the right hand down and the left hand down and slowly return to a tall, upright seat. And so just taking a few moments to feel your body breathing, noticing what has shifted or changed in the time that you devoted to yourself, to your baby. This time you took to move with intention, with care and compassion for yourself. And we'll close our practice as we always do. And that's just by gently opening and lifting the hands, and palms are open to the sky. And this is a posture of receptivity. And the invitation is for you to make an intention or to offer a prayer or maybe a word of gratitude. And this can be to your higher power. This can be gratitude for your ancestors, for all the mamas who came before you. Maybe it's a simple prayer. And this practice of just being receptive and being comfortable with asking for what you need. Allowing yourself to make the request and being willing to receive. So I want to offer gratitude for my ancestors, for their wisdom and their strength, their endurance, how they persevered through so much, and how through their efforts I am here. And so I'm grateful for every breath that I breathe. Just setting the intention to show up, to be present, and to do what is mine to do each and every day. And gently joining the hands together in front of the heart. Again, a very simple gesture. Acknowledgement of honor, of respect for ourselves and for others. Gently bowing the head, chin to chest. Namaste.